Hi folks, editing Sara here. We at 9 to 5 want to take a moment to acknowledge the passing beyond the rim of Dolly Parton, a very talented, creative, and most importantly, kind person who left the world better for her passing through it. We will always love you. I should have started recording a minute ago because you saying, what a shock, each of us own purple things.
Do we want to try and recreate that moment?
We can.
I'm going with us talking about this.
This is about something. The future. Mysteries.
Prophecy.
Faith.
Struggle.
Tragedy.
Triumph.
Purpose. Justice. War. Peace.
Resistance.
Alliance.
Friendship. Family.
Story.
Hi, friends.
Salutations.
And welcome.
This is 9 to 5. I'm Sara Ezzat. I make the Fat Culture Critic videos.
I'm Ren the Barbarian of Ren the Barbarian fame.
And I'm Zylla Black. I run a YouTube channel called Zylla's Athenaeum.
And we are here to discuss Born to the Purple.
Da, 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 da.
I wonder where that name even came from anyway.
I can tell you.
I could tell you, yeah.
Oh.
Purple is associated with royalty because of, as Zylla will tell you, because of Rome.
Okay.
And in Britain, it is still used for the House of Lords. They still use purple robes. And people who are made peers are said to be to accede to the purple or something.
Aspire.
Yeah, and but people who are hereditary are said to be born to the purple.
Okay.
Purple is a sign of high status because in ancient Greece and Rome, the dye that makes things a nice vivid purple was very, very hard to make. It comes from the murex shells, which are these tiny little shellfish, like marine snails, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So very hard to get enough of them to make proper dye, and it was therefore very expensive. So only very wealthy people had access to bright purple clothing of any kind. So it became, the senators would have a purple stripe on their robes. Later, emperors would wear purple togas sometimes, depending on exactly how spendthrift they wanted to appear or how spendthrift their biographers wanted them to appear. But it was also true in Greece, before we get to the Roman Empire, that a lot of times you would find, purple as a signifier of high status or very valuable. There's even a Sappho poem that talks about like the prettiest thing that she owns is a purple headband from afar.
And actually, purple dye remained extremely rare and expensive until the Victorian era, when it was the first artificial dye was a shade of mauve, which we are no longer able to create because one of the ingredients was arsenic. But it was all the rage, even though it was toxic and harming people.
I mean,
there's your history
not
lesson
like it
for
was
today.
Alone. Every time that I listen to that Bare Naked Ladies song, if I had $1 million, there's one that's I would buy you a green dress, but not
a real green dress. That's cruel.
So like in the song, that's very clearly in context of a joke about, like, I think is real furs.
Yeah,
was the previous one, like a fur coat, not a real fur coat. That's cruel. But every time I hear that line, not a real green dress, that's cruel, I think about the green arsenic dye that used to be very popular, that did in fact kill people.
Yep.
Well, there's your history lesson for today. I thought you all were going to say it was like a literary reference or reference to a song or something.
Well, that's the thing. Like these physical artifacts, these physical like create things, are part of the culture. They're part
Yeah.
of the thing. Like, so much of our language comes from things involving textiles, because textiles and food are two of the most basic things needed to exist, and so they're two of the main parts of human language. Like, possibly one of the most important inventions ever was the needle. But
Okay.
you know
So-
why? Well, there's a very good reason why it's never treated as the important thing.
Because it's feminine. Anyway,
I got a new fad.
I see it says gender.
I didn't do a very good job of doing the thing.
It is.
It looks like it says Gemender.
Yes,
Rude.
that's because the pen sort of bled over, and so
Looks like some kind of Celtic rune or something.
I will replace these with better fans. at
People
some
who are
point.
listening, I'm sorry y'all are missing this.
So I have to break in here because this is amazing timing. So right now, as we're talking, as we're recording this is the weekend, well, the Monday as it happens, of the Save Ancient Studies Alliance virtual conference, which is free.
Which will have long passed by the time this.
It will have long passed, but but this year's, well, two things. First, this year's conference, and I picked this topic when I was working with them. This year's topic is fashion, clothing
Ooh.
and jewelry in antiquity, and that's
Nice.
like worldwide. Like, there are talks on Greece and Rome, of course, but there's also a lot of like ancient Iran and ancient Mexico and like all over the world. So that's just fantastic. And I just spent all of yesterday listening to talks about textiles and textile fragments and beaded jewelry and restringing it and all sorts of stuff. But the relevant thing for our listeners is that you can actually go, I'm hoping by the time that this episode goes out that these recordings will be up, but SAS's conferences are all recorded and put up on their YouTube channel. So that's Save Ancient Studies on most things.
Remind me, and we will include the link.
Will do.
Well, considering that at least two of us are spinsters, but not the real spinsters. Not that's cool, but that's because I don't actually own a spinning wheel. I want to learn how sometime.
Actually, I've heard that after a certain age, you stop being a
Thornback.
spinster and you become a thornback. Yeah, exactly.
I do believe that you and I, Sarah, would count as thornbacks. I don't know about Ren.
Yeah, but I was talking about trying to build off of the whole like
Cloth thing.
that it's actually spinster. And yeah, anyway, shall we talk about this very gender episode?
Yeah, I'm sure our viewers are ready for us to get to it.
Also, that will not be the last time I mention antiquity this session. I mean, you knew that was coming, but I'm just warning you.
Obviously not.
We wouldn't have you any other way.
Born to the Purple was written by Larry DiTillo and directed by Bruce Seth Green. Londo Mollari is in love. So in love that he's distracted and missing important negotiations that Sinclair is mediating between him and Jakar with Talia's psychic assistance. But Londo is utterly captivated by Adira Touré, a dancer at a local station club, and she seems fond of him too. But whether she is or not, she's not actually sleeping with him by choice. She is an indentured slave to a creep named Trachis, who is using her to steal information from Londo. To be specific, his purple files, the most secure and most dangerous secrets Londo has access to. From purple files to gold channels, Garibaldi is trying to track down an anomaly in the station's communication system. Someone might be trying to steal access to the highest security comms network. Garibaldi is on the case, but Susan is strangely dismissive, calling it no more than a gremlin. Adira acquires the purple files, but just when she's supposed to hand them over to Trachis, she gives him the slip and goes into hiding. Rather than hunting for her himself, Trachis decides to tell Londo the truth. or selective pieces of the truth, telling him that she's a slave and that she has the files, but putting the blame on her and saying she must be working for the Narn. As Trachis hopes, Londo is utterly devastated. These files could ruin him and risk the Empire. He's certainly motivated to get her back, and the files. And since Trachis plants a bug on him, all he has to do is sit back and wait for Londo to break the case. Sinclair agrees to help Londo in exchange for his agreeing to Sinclair's compromise on the negotiations. And while they're investigating their case, Garibaldi gets a break in his. It turns out it's Susan. She's been using the gold channels to try and reach her dying father. She's able to make the connection in time for a final heart-to-heart. And so Garibaldi has caught his gremlin. And Londo almost catches up with Adira, but Trachis gets there first. Londo, Sinclair, and Talia hatch a plan to save her and the files. It calls for a bit of sneakiness to get around Psychor rules. Sinclair fools Jakar into setting up a deal with Trachis for the purple files. A deal negotiated with Talia's help, of course. But she tricks Trachis with the old don't think about the purple elephant trick. Don't think about where Adira Teray is, which of course he does. And she can be saved. And with that, a triumphant Londo knocks out Trachis, taking back his files and thanking Jakar for his great service to the Empire. Garibaldi and Susan have a conversation about gremlins. He joins her in the lie that there was no misuse of the channels, and she knows he's lying for her benefit. They share a tentative olive branch of future friendship. Londo meets Adira at a docking port bound for home. He has secured her freedom, and he offers her his forgiveness for her deceptions. He'd like her to stay now that they know the truth about one another, but she can't, and so he wishes her to live proudly as a free woman. And he asks maybe she'll come back to him someday. So, initial thoughts?
First of all, I just want to say, I love the fact that Talia tricks Jakar by pulling the move from Legally Blonde, where the guy gets the gay guy to admit that he's gay and lying on the stand. And what's your name again? Nikos. And your boyfriend's name? Carlos. Thank you. But yeah, no, this is the episode where I think, like, you know, I really started like getting more into the show. Like, you know, it felt more grounded in characters and less in world building or, you know, sci-fi stuff. And it was the episode for me that, like, Londo went from being a scumbag to a livable scumbag. Because he and Miss Udinio just have such great chemistry in this episode. Like, I could really buy that, like that she's attracted to him and that, like, he really does care for her. It was really great. I loved it, and I love the fact that it's Fabiana Udinio, who was Francesca Dinelli in Bride of Reanimator. And also a lot of vagina in Austin Powers.
It's the episode where I started to really think of the Centauri as Roman. Not just for the nobility, but for the class stratification, for the particular reputation that they seem to have, about how the high nobles are high nobles because they have kept dirt on each other from the beginning of time. And also because it feels like when Londo is discussing appearance and masks versus reality, it sounds to me like very much like what you get in Roman love poetry when class lines are crossed, of like, let us cast off these appearances and you know, be who we are to each other. It's not an uncommon subject for Roman comedy either, where a noble man falls in love with a slave woman, a sex worker, whether or not by choice, generally not. And and they have to go through all of this trouble to either ennoble the woman or get her, find evidence of some noble birth for her, or something to work out, this class difference to make the appearances line up so he can marry her. So that's my knee jerk. The other is Ivanova talking to her father. It makes me sob every time. I was crying watching it earlier. It's just,
she is one of those, when she cries, we cry characters.
Yeah.
It felt very personal to me. It's not that my relationship with my dad was anything like hers from the sound of it. I always knew that my dad loved me and was proud of me, but when I watched this for the first time, it was pretty soon after my dad had died. And yeah. So big hit to the feels is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I enjoy this one. I mean, I think there's some interesting gender stuff going around. We'll dig into the gender of it all. But I enjoy this one. I think this is where Londo becomes really endearing. I think your moon-faced assassin of joy is just an unforgettable line. I think it's an excellent character piece and all around pretty decent episode. And it is an anomaly in that it is not a JMS episode. One in the first season, he had a writing partner who wrote some of the episodes, and that is Larry DiTillo. So he trusted him to write this, and there's a few other episodes of his that come up in the first season. From the second season, it's into the fifth. It's almost entirely JMS, but this was one by someone else, and it's a very good. It is well written, and JMS was very pleased with the work on this, and felt it was good, like that he captured Jakar very well, just the way he wanted him to this like old romantic.
Oh, you mean Londo?
Londo.
Yeah.
I mean, we do get some pretty good.
We do get some pretty good Jakar moments. Well, this is one of those, sub-writers whose subtlety, because we have Sinclair stating the theme right up there. When he's talking about negotiations, he's like, "We just have to peel back you're going to be my peeler to tell you. We need to peel back the layers of lies until we are left with the simple truth." And like that, this episode is a burlesque in that it is a peeling of layers to reveal truths and lies. And that's one of the reasons why I think some of the gender stuff is interesting. There's a sense of gender being performance that I think is nicely underlined by the fact that even before we meet Adira, who is giving a very male gaze performance of gender, which she needs to do, that is her job, we have I keep trying to say Natoth.
What is her name? Kototh.
We have Kototh, who appears on the button of them being like, "Aren't females great?" and being all da, 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 da. And then she walks in and she just absolutely refuses the gaze or the performance. She punches the guy out who tries to objectify her. Mm-hmm. And I think I like that. Even though you could one could read this and be fooled into thinking like that this is what they're saying, like that the vision of womanhood presented by Adira is meant to be like genuine, but like I think that it is a performance because that is her job. That is part of the sex worker's job, to perform gender.
And sex work is work.
Exactly.
Except when
100%.
you are owned by some asshole, in which case it is slavery.
Yeah, it is trafficking.
Yeah.
Slaves do work, they just don't reap any of the benefits instead of reaping a tiny fraction.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why it's labor exploitation. I would say more than I think work somehow.
It implies that you're getting something out of it for the work that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a semantic point, but what are we doing at podcasts if not splitting hairs? But I think there is a distinction between labor and work, and I think forced labor is a particular thing, and this is forced sex labor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll definitely agree with that.
She's kind of very like film noir-esque and like the femme fatale, but she's also kind of a deconstruction of that because, we do see that she's actually like, very like vulnerable and sympathetic in a way that a lot of classic femme fatale characters aren't. But yeah, she is kind of cut from the cloth of that, like, honey trap archetype.
She is the sex worker with the heart of gold.
Very much. Like, one thing that really pleased me about the simple truth at the end of this episode is that she and Londo do actually care for each other. I mean, Londo is in love, that's clear. And his love is not super possessive either.
Yeah.
But her affection is also genuine.
Yeah.
And like that is like she didn't have second thoughts about giving the crystal over because of the damage to the Centauri Empire. She didn't hand over the crystal because she saw somebody buying flowers for his sweetheart. And she thought about how much she cared about Londo. I mean, I guess that's not explicitly stated, but that's very clear in the frame.
Yeah. I think that's a very, I think that's a intended,
pretty obvious conclusion to draw.
Yeah. I mean, there are other layers there because she is terrified of that man.
Yeah.
And what will he do when she's no longer of use to him?
And clearly she's been tortured by him. Like we see him using some pain delivery device on her. And she is used to it. Because we see that on someone else and that guy just goes crashing off and screaming in pain. And all
plus
she does
the emotional abuse of him, the way he was like trying to make her feel like nothing.
I did appreciate also that, like, when he was trying to manipulate Londo directly, Londo saw through it kind of immediately. Like, he understood, she is your slave, these are your papers. But he very clearly was like, a Narn spy? Really? You're going to try and convince me of that? Get out of my hair.
Yeah.
Get out of my sticky uppy hair.
You're saying that she's a slave with no free will of her own, but also she's a double agent. Yeah, that tracks. I mean, it's possible, but it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
But going back to how genuine, like, the chemistry was between Jurassic and Eugenio, should we talk about the sitcom husband, sitcom wife trope?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't know, the trope is that in a lot of, this happens in a lot of sitcoms, not all, but a lot of them, like King of Queens or Family Guy, you have the man
fat
is
man, thin wife,
yeah, like the husband is usually, or the male love interest is usually not necessarily conventionally attractive. Maybe he's older. Usually he's fat. Whereas the female in the equation will look like a supermodel. And I do think that's kind of on display here, but I don't think it's like in that. it's hard to explain because like, okay, you see people online right now talking about like attractiveness gaps in couples, and people kind of deconstructing the fact that when a man is dating a woman who's less attractive than him, it's like it's seen as like outside the norm, and the woman gets like a lot of flack for it, like, you're stealing that attractive man away from somebody who's more worthy of him. But we don't blink twice when a very attractive woman is dating a man who's less attractive than him, because it's just sort of normalized in society that women should settle for men who are less attractive than them. And it's like, the thing is, attraction is, it's not something you can just quantify. It's not something, it's like, you're equally attractive conventionally to me, therefore we should be together. Like, you are attracted to what you're attracted to. And it's society that decides who's more attractive in a couple. It's not who, if this is making any sense.
No, it is. I mean, although I don't think that Londo and Dira really come from the schlub and smoke show bucket.
No, absolutely not.
They're more it's more the model and the politician.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is a much like the powerful man and the beautiful woman on his arm is much more sort of established. It's less wish fulfillment than it is like a thing, because rich men often do acquire beautiful women. And I do mean acquire, because it's not uncommon for them to be escorts.
Yeah.
And that is, that is sex work. If people are, everyone's consenting to it. But also, like, there is power has a currency, and beauty is a certain kind of power, being, fitting the beauty aesthetic. And so there's a reason why beautiful women have used their beauty to acquire powerful mates, because patriarchy.
Yeah.
And trying to survive in the patriarchy. That is been a thing. And in terms of like putting up with a powerful man to gain power, like Londo, he's a sweetie.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Like, he's also, don't get too comfortable. He's not a good man.
But he is good to her.
Yeah, he is. He's able to be kind. He's such a complicated character. He is very, very, very dangerous, in fact. But he's disarming. That is disarming because he is so absolutely charming. And, there is something very attractive about somebody who being charming. And she's open about the fact that she's attracted to his power.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, so there's a mix of performance and likely, genuine chemistry.
Yeah. Like, we know that she's a honey trap, but also, like, I do think, like, her, she really does mean it when she says that, she's into him. And he even admits, like, oh, I'm this old man, you're this young beauty. And she's like, I like you.
Mm-hmm. Although at the end, it seems she's very fond of him. When the masks are down, there is a fondness. She doesn't necessarily appear attracted.
Maybe
that is that it's like not.
It's a little ambiguous there.
Yes, it's ambiguous, but it is.
She definitely gives him an unforced kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. She's fond of him.
He's fond of him, and there are people who are perfectly happy to give their bodies to people that they're fond of and aren't necessarily in love with.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be fine. She doesn't promise him anything.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't ask for her to promise him anything.
Yeah.
but that genuine fondness is way more than one might expect in this situation, where she has been forced to be with him, to be intimate with him. But she genuinely seems, to enjoy his company too.
Yeah.
I think that at least we can say that she is his friend, if nothing else. Coming back to Ren's mention of the sitcom couple, one of the big things about that is that the guy is routinely a fool, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that he's physically schlubby or whatever. He's also, a dingus. He's comedy fodder. And, the wife is often kind of a shrew. And we are not getting any of that anywhere in this. Even when we come to the politician and the bought beauty on his arm, we often expect this kind of leveraging of the power dynamic, which Londo refuses to do. He wants her to have his gift regardless of whether she stays, right? So I really do love that.
I think that's part of the stripping back, because the politician and the beauty, the schlub and the smoke show, these are all lies in terms of the language of this episode. The lies that you strip back, these are all constructs, these are all masks. In the final scene, we are past that, and they're just two people. There's still a power differential, especially as he's just earned her freedom, and like there's a whole damsel thing.
Yeah.
But as much as possible, they are stripped back to being just two people.
Yeah. And I do find it interesting that in this whole episode, there's this ongoing thing of like there needing to be some kind of council to agree over some kind of diplomatic terms, and Malari's not taking care of business because he's so wrapped up in his, affair. And then at the and even at one point he even turns like his ambassadorial power over to Veer because he
don't
he
give
just
away
wants
to homeworld.
Yeah. But then at the end he uses that ambassadorial power to help her. He finally uses his job to like and does something with it. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I do love the parallel moment when Jakar turns it over to Katoth and is just like, don't give a homework. Like both Veer and Katoth are just like,
what do we do?
What now?
Like they both have this like stunned look, but they're also like super happy about it. Like, I kind of want to see that negotiation, honestly.
What I want to know is, did Veer ever get his Nintendo Switch back?
Of course not. No, that's gone.
Jakar kept it forever.
Don't bring your Game Boy to negotiations. Yes. There's some great Veer in this episode.
Is this his first episode, or has he been here before?
No, Veer's been here since midnight on the firing line.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
he showed up, like he came into the episode, but he was just kind of like running around trying not to get stuff thrown at him by Londo.
Okay. So he actually like had a little more to do in this episode, I think. Not that we got to see it, but
he's very clearly immature in his station, as is Katoth, in very different ways. Veer acts a little bit like a kid, right? Like he's a college kid almost. Like he's adult enough to understand what things are important,
but he's also bringing his Game Boy to important meetings,
right? Like he's
the intern.
And Katoth reminds me of like the young woman who has just sort of like figured out that she has power in herself and is convinced that she is going to just climb straight to the top of the ladder and fix everything that's wrong with the world. Like she's very like
she's Bud Frump from How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
I haven't seen that.
It's really good. I both the original movie from the 60s and the stage play.
I was in it as a kid, and I don't remember almost anything about it.
Well, basically, Bud Frump is like the head of the company's wife's nephew or something, and he uses nepotism to like crawl his way up from the mailroom to like the higher echelons. But like, you know, he's very like Machiavellian about it. Like, I'm gonna be like, or almost like Starscream from Transformers. Like, you know, one day I'm gonna be running this company.
See, I was thinking like Christina Yang from Grey's Anatomy. Like, I am the badass. I am the superstar. I'm going to be running this in a matter of no time because you will see how awesome and badass I am. I am showing up a day early.
Yeah, I really don't think Katoth is manipulative in the way of a Bud Frump. Just the only thing I really do remember. But I do think that she's. You ever see the movie Barbed Wire?
No. We're all using different references.
All these, yeah.
But like it's the idea of strong female character without understanding what that means. But it is through the lens of a teenage girl almost. So like when I started to understand my own power to shape my destiny in a certain way, and I was very, like, things still felt very simple. Like, there's a right thing to do and there's a wrong thing to do, and I'm going to do the right thing, and if you don't do that, then what are you?
She's Rachel from Glee.
Yes, that's a good one.
Like, she's practically ready to burst into song.
But I do just really love so Sarah, I'm actually a little surprised you haven't mentioned the costuming yet. Because I thought the costumes in this one were fascinating.
Oh yeah, I love that one number that Adira wore that made her look like a pirate queen.
I mean, I did a whole video about that costume. So, if you want to hear me talk about the costumes, there's a whole video I can talk about the costumes. No, I love. We get real gender is one of the things that costuming often conveys, both in real life and in shows. And one of the things that I like about the difference between the Narn and the Centauri is that the Narn have very little gender difference in clothing.
And the Centauri, there's like a lot of sexual dimorphism there.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that we've got bald head and ponytail versus the peacock fro, and she is all in like soft and flowy, and but that's partly performance. Her wardrobe is part of her profession.
Mm-hmm. She's a courtesan
and a burlesque dancer. She's in very flowy clothes that have, echoes of Rome and of the imperial empire era, which were, of course, basically doing yaoi. What is it? Basically cosplay. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stop trying to use young people slang. Basically,
I don't think you mean yaoi.
Yeah,
I think you mean weeb.
Weeb.
There wasn't.
Yes. Yeah. Roman weeb. They were the empire period is basically weebs for Rome.
Sadly, not much yaoi in this episode.
Yeah. No. I mean, I don't. So
sorry, old people are still trying to use young slang.
Yes, no, that's the wrong genre in many ways.
And then we have our outtake.
The dress, that one dress with all of the ruffles, the multi-layer pattern fabrics. Even when she's leaving, her bag is the same fabric as her dress, like her overskirt. It's like it's amazing. It's so very
Rococo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking Trachis must have had to do hell of a budget the costuming for his little espionage scheme.
Well, I mean, she was already working as a dancer and probably courtesan at the nightclub.
Mhm.
He
But yeah.
probably had some budget set aside for her clothing.
It is very Rococo, sort of robe la française, but through 1990s. Through 1990, like the fact that it's done with a short skirt and
yeah, the shortness of it and the low cut is actually pretty accurate, but the
low cut is definitely appropriate, but they would not have shown their legs.
Ankles.
Yeah.
Legs were men showed off their legs.
Yeah. Plus the pirate stripes probably not of the period either.
No, the fabric is very 90s sort of thing, but it's fabulous. I love it.
Yeah,
it is tacky in all the right ways because Rococo was tacky.
Mm-hmm. I love the rough on that dress.
Yes.
Is that even the right term? A frill? But just like the designer must have had so much fun that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I know this is more props production design, but I really loved how they designed the flowers he brought her, the star laces or whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
They looked really cool.
And this is
so
before
pretty,
LEDs, so that must have been a pain in the ass to wire those up.
Which is also why they didn't put any water in that vase. Like I was thinking about that as she set up the vase. I'm like, oh no, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't even pretend to put those in. That's not a good idea.
Yeah. Or when he chucked it at the wall, and it barely broke.
But I also like the variety of dancers' costumes when they go to the club.
Yeah.
We've got a whole variety of variation of dancers. Star Trek doesn't do strip clubs.
Yeah.
But if Star Trek did strip clubs, it would not look like this. It would look like we are trying to look futuristic, as opposed to we are borrowing from bits and pieces of the past and mixing them up with fabrics, which has a more, as with many things, has a bit more of a lived-in quality.
Yeah.
Also, the nightclub, I thought the strip club felt really real. Like the whole set of it and the extras that they had. It felt, like you said, lived in in a way that you don't necessarily get from like Quark's gambling den.
Yeah.
Although I said that Star Trek doesn't do strip clubs, but some of the Dabo dancers' costumes are extremely male gazy.
And there are the holo suites.
But I don't know. I think that those feel. This feels a bit more real, a bit more earthy. And also, there's less judgment than there necessarily would be on Star Trek because there's actually a quote. I was looking up some of the things that JMS has said about this episode because he got pushback on having like strippers and a dancer. He says, I confess I don't see the problem. In real life, some women are scientists and doctors and athletes, and some women dance in bars. Some women hook part-time or full-time. Some men are scholars and diplomats and teachers, and some men are gigolos and thieves, and also dance in bars. Where exactly is the problem in portraying both sides of this? Have we become so concerned with being politically correct that we cannot show a legitimate part of human existence? Babylon, the B5 has all kinds, both sides of all kinds, male and female equally. I chose exotic dancers for a kind of sleazy, not legitimate operation, a backroom club. What will one expect to find there? Opera singers. You look at the situation and you choose what is appropriate to the situation. Now, he's doing a bit of it's a mixed statement, I would say, because we don't actually see male dancers in this club. It would improve that if there was. The concern with political correctness.
Always a red flag.
It's a red flag because you kind of want to dig into that. Like, what are you like? There is a sense of people trying, especially at this period of feminism. There was definitely some anti-sex feminism. There was anti-pornography.
Mm-hmm.
I think
still is some.
He's doing it in the. It's not the language we would like, but perhaps it's speaking to something because the anti-pornography the anti-porn wars at the time was very destructive to feminism, actually. And it was enabling to the far right because some feminists kind of like certain turfy people who claim to be claim to be feminists but stand with side with right wingers and oppressors. So yeah, I get the concern about not wanting to overly sanitize and like accepting that strip clubs, porn, burlesque, these are all part of human life. They're not all the same. I used to work in burlesque. I used to be a host, and like the importance of consent is very high, and it being on the dancer's term, as opposed to often in strip clubs being more male gaze and more,
The problem is not sex work itself. The problem is the exploitation within the industry.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I think this episode does a pretty good job of pointing to, when Londo is perfectly well aware that she's a strip club dancer. This doesn't bother him. But when he finds out that she's a slave, that's deeply disturbing to him. He thought she was there of her own free will.
Yeah, and if we were making this now, we would probably want to have more of a conversation about consent and the differences and the layers, but it was being made in the early 90s, and they were using the language they had, and it would improve things to have some masculine presenting people amongst the bunch there. It's
fairly progressive for the 90s. Let's just leave it at that.
That's true. And the Adira's friend, who isn't a dancer at the same club, but clearly is of a very similar status, just based on her dress and her willingness to room with a sex worker. Like, that is showing us some of the solidarity that people in that situation can have. It's not surprising that one of the other dancers would be willing to give her up, but it isn't immediate, and it isn't all of them,
And just one line of dialogue, we managed to humanize this character.
The dancers who are willing to give her up, so to speak, like they're willing to give her up to Londo.
Right.
And they may know Londo is her boyfriend, or they may know Londo generally. So like it's not like they're giving her up to Trask.
Yeah, that's true.
Though we don't know what happens to the girl who is sheltering her. That is sort of one of the unanswered questions of this episode.
Yeah. I'd almost forgotten that Trakas had put like a little device on his shoulder. Like, they went to the club, they asked the girls, where is she? They told them, and then all of a sudden, he's got her. And I was like, wait, what? How did that happen? How do you and then I remembered, oh yeah, the tracking device. I wish they'd maybe like just shown like maybe like one shot of him like listening in on Malari and Sinclair talking, and then just him just being like, got her or something.
I think there was, but they didn't show his face, so it's pretty easy to ignore.
Yeah.
I also did like that he's dealing with that mantis alien in the alien sector.
Yeah.
It's like the only like person in the alien sector we see multiple times is this really fucking shady mantis creature
with the little tongue that pops in and out. when
Yeah.
it talks.
I wonder what that guy's name is. I like him.
He's
I
probably
know
a
what I was-
puppet.
Well, yeah, sure. But I remembered what I was thinking about earlier, which is I love that Londo is like, I know the underworld, I can talk to these criminals, and Sinclair is way, way better at it.
Yeah, Sinclair got to do a little acting because he's usually, Mr. Professional. When he put on his little act with the club manager, I was like, okay, Jeffrey, I see you.
And I love that laugh that he did where he's like showing his teeth. Like that's
Yes.
just so exaggerated.
It was a little bit unsettling, but in a good way.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like, oh, we are about to forget a performance.
I like the two of them doing shenanigans together.
Yes.
Mhm. And I like that Sinclair in this episode really just spends his entire time being sneaky in one way or another.
And he's loving it.
Yes.
And he's loving it, and it's all for the cause of doing his job, which is part of why he loves it. It's like, this is the most exciting his day has gotten in a long time.
Yeah, because again, he was a fighter pilot essentially,
Right.
who got given a desk job, and so he's like, ooh, finally I get to have some fun at my new job.
But he's
And
a great
also,
negotiator.
I get to stop to cut through all the bullshit and have them just agree because I did the thing.
Yep.
He gets concessions out of Londo. He gets concessions out of Jakar. He gets away with all of it. And he even got concessions out of Talia because Talia was not in favor of even being flexible on her ethics, which is one of those things that we like about Talia, is that she is a very, very ethical person, which is not always going to be true about Psychor.
Mm-hmm.
Because you give anybody that much power, and
and then her immediately being like, "Oh, someone's life is on the line." Okay, I have a plan.
Yeah, I can be sneaky. I like Talia in this episode. I think that it's a good showcase where we get a sense of the cost of her abilities.
Yeah,
that she's
she
overwhelmed.
gets that headache from people's strong emotions, and
the way she feels uncomfortable, like seems to feel like she's prying, and Londo's
Londo's
thoughts were erotic.
and I like that we have a lot of her and Sinclair connecting, and it is entirely platonic and respectful.
Yeah.
Like, you might have been able to build a ship out of it if you
like
really
the scene where they
wanted
were sitting down to dinner, but that was really
even then, it there was a little tiny hint where you could build on it, but it was really just them joking about Londo.
Yeah. Honestly, if you had replaced Talia with Garibaldi in that scene, it would have felt the exact same scene.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was just two colleagues being colleagues.
Yeah.
And in an episode that has so much gender in it, it is nice to have to include the gender, just treating each other like people.
Yeah.
Speaking of Garibaldi, we really haven't talked about the B plot here, and I've got to say that I love the fact that they decided to call it the Gold Channels.
Yeah.
And that they're making a show in that way of purple and gold are the colors of royalty and wealth, and we're taking purple and the Roman coding for the Centauri, and we're taking gold and the sort of capitalism coding for
or
not
military, because it's not uncommon for military to have medals and ranks and things in terms of stuff like gold.
Plus, they're just opposite colors on the color wheel, and they're,
complementary.
simultaneous running plot lines.
Mm-hmm. And we again have a peeling back of layers, and in this case, what is the center of what is when the masks are gone, we have pure vulnerability.
Yeah,
and the deception is to protect the vulnerability, not to it's not, there's no manipulation. Like, she's manipulating, but like she's just trying to protect herself while she's trying to honor her father.
You think that like when they first show Garibaldi talking about his gremlin, you think to yourself, okay, like what the hell is this plot? Is this B plot? Like, did they just need to give this actor like his allotted screen time and they just couldn't think of anything? But then it hits and you're like, oh, okay, I see. It sneaks up on you.
It does.
And I do think that it's interesting in light of everything we've been talking about, insert gender fan reveal, that really the B plot doesn't feel gendered at all either. It's not like Garibaldi rebelling against a woman in charge, or Ivanova being too soft for the job, or a softie at heart, because anybody would feel the pain that she's feeling there, and the vulnerability. And she is shown as perfectly professional and competent. And Garibaldi doesn't make it about any of that when he finally finds out what's happening. He's just giving her respect and giving her vulnerability respect.
See, I do see a gendered angle in that her being a woman in this position, she has to be very protected and strong, and she is what Koloth is sort of trying to be. Like, she's strong, she's protected, she can't show any weakness, or she feels that she can't show weakness, or she's very buttoned up and all that, to be sort of a woman in the man's role. Even if in her time it may not necessarily be a man's role, but in the 90s, a woman in charge, this is a sort of Catherine Janeway, like the need to project this strength and invulnerability. And so her being able, there's sort of this added layer of risk with her being vulnerable. And there is a sense that that like being vulnerable with him at the end does feel like a risk that he knows, and the way that he honors it, and it's sort of a very sibling-y kind of thing. So yeah, it feels like a gender thing, in that, to me, it feels like the risk to a man of being vulnerable would be different, because, for one, daddy issues is a sort of narrative which we understand men to have vulnerability. We allow men to have vulnerability. It's a standard story, but like, for a woman to have the stories that we have about women having daddy issues, it's kind of it brings in an ideas of weakness and childishness, as opposed to like, this is what we understand. Men have big feelings about dads, whereas woman is like undermined if she has big feelings. And so like, there is, it's sort of like, it's an interesting kind of foil for her to be able, her to take this risk and be vulnerable, and for us to show Ivanova being vulnerable in a way, and then to have Garibaldi treat her with this utmost respect and protect her vulnerability and stuff. it is like teaching the audience that a woman can be both strong and vulnerable, and that we honor and respect a woman, having feelings too. That we don't treat her like she's lesser. And I really like that, especially like we just published. I just edited and we just published the Man Alone episode where we were getting so annoyed by the gender stuff there. That was the sort of the unconscious, so much gender shit. There's a sense that feels as if this has been carefully thought through about how to present a woman in this position and how to allow her to have her feelings in a way that is framed respectfully.
Mm-hmm. It's a really good humanizing moment for them both.
Yeah.
And I loved their dynamic in this episode overall. I wrote down in my notes, Garibaldi and Ivanova remind me of trying to shove two magnets with matching poles together. Like if you shove a north magnet and a north magnet together, they're not gonna, because they're so much alike.
And there's very much like a bickering thing in the beginning with the why are you at my console, and when it's a whole, like they are building they're building a sibling relationship here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're new co-workers, so like her her knowing she can trust him. And I love the moment when she says, when she says, another time, when she accepts the olive branch.
This was just like a really great episode for platonic co-workers of opposite genders.
Yes.
Well, the opening scene where Londo is watching the dancers and he gets all excited when Adira comes on stage. It had me thinking to myself, I miss old-fashioned misogyny, because like men, they used to see women as objects, but at least they liked women. Nowadays all you get is Andrew Tate types.
No, there's always been a fair bit of that kind too. There's some good and some bad gender stuff throughout this show, and one of the things I think that the show has about gender, being as it is so influenced by Arthurian legend, is we have the treating women as on pedestals and damsels, kind of courtly love kind of gender stuff that can also be misogynist in its way.
Yeah.
It is in its own objectifying way. And we're definitely going to have some interesting ideas about how we love people and pedestals, and that sort of thing is going to come up. Yeah. But we don't get the kind of take my wife, please bullshit ever. I think I can't remember that ever being anywhere in Babylon 5, that kind of shit that we got in that Deep Space Nine episode.
Yeah. So, I think we've talked about all the characters and touched on their little moments.
Yeah, I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think we could.
Yeah. So why don't we do favorite parts?
All right.
You want to start?
Alrighty. There were a lot of great moments. I was honestly torn. I loved, when Sinclair got to do his little acting shtick. But I think my favorite moment was was when they get the crystal back from Trachis, and Malari walks up to Jakar and shakes his hand and says, "Thank you for helping out the Empire." Because I don't think Jakar was in on the plot like Talia was.
They played him like a fiddle.
Oh God.
So I've got two as well. The silly one is I love K'Top just being like amazing.
By the way, that character had a name, Butts. As in
Okay.
landed on ones.
Wow. I like Kitab. She's great. But the more serious one is Papa.
Mm,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
A father should give his daughter love as well as respect. That is
Just hits right in the heart.
yes.
Who would have predicted that Zylla would pick a Ivanova moment?
That is an excellent.
Not always going to be true. It's not always going to be true. But I bet
Just
I
most of the time.
Sara's favorite.
That is an excellent moment. I will also say I have to, because one is your moon-faced assassin of joy.
Had to be.
And yes, I will continue doing my bad Londo impression. And
The long-suffering Veer. Pour one out for him.
But actually, sincerely, my favorite is Londo. I have been in love many times.
And I've been hurt many times.
And I'll survive.
Yeah. I love, as someone who struggles with being open to that sort of thing, I love how open and ready he is to be the romantic, but also to have no regrets and no recriminations. You know, he's been in love, he got hurt, but he took his chances. And yeah, it is so generous, and both of himself to her and also to himself. Like, you know that he's hurt, and he's just going to accept that he's hurt, and it's going to hurt for a bit, but it was worth it. He lived, he loved.
Yeah. Really great episode.
Really great episode. To talk about a not so great episode, transitions. Let's hear some comments from our listeners from A Man Alone.
Yes.
So even though that dropped just the other day, we got some excellent comments. From John Banfield. The fact that this episode was loosely based on a Western and also has things to say makes me wonder if they were intentionally calling back to one of the famous iterations of the trolley problem. There's a version where someone has been murdered in a Western town, but you, the sheriff, have no idea who did it. The town demands that someone hang for it and threatens to storm the jail and kill everyone inside if they don't get a public hanging by morning. You have a drifter already in jail for vagrancy, and he has no friends or relatives in the state. Do you hang the man for the crime he didn't commit, or let the townspeople murder him and everyone else in the building?
That's very interesting.
I think Londo would. I think Odo would probably let everybody die.
For sure.
Because it's not just.
Now, if they said, like, we're gonna kill Kira if you don't give yourself up, then he'd be like, okay, you got me. Because Kira's his buddy.
I'm not. I want to find a solution other than people getting hanged.
Yeah.
But
hot take, but lynch mobs are not good.
No. Neither is the death penalty.
Nope.
I say that jokingly, but there's actually been like a string of suspicious deaths of in America recently.
Not to mention the anti-immigrant mobs that have been happening across the pond.
Yeah.
Far-right agitators.
Speaking of which, when Garibaldi was dealing with the computer and he said ICE, damn it, and I was like, that's also what I say when I deal with ICE.
Yep.
Fuck ICE.
I was like, I had a moment when I was watching it, I was like, oh right, back when ICE in all caps just meant like computer nonsense to me.
Yeah.
Back in the good old days.
Oh, just one of those funny coincidences.
Meander went off. Our friend says, "Never mind the Sub Rosa episode of Star Trek. I'm watching this immediately." Cool, thank you. I'm personally really enjoying Star Trek. That's the podcast that Jesse is now doing with Tawny Newsom and Andrew T.
And I'm totally not jealous.
Of who? Each and every single one of those things.
Yeah. What I would give to be in that room.
Yeah, no, it's great. Okay, so Nug 1903. I have two main thoughts for this episode. One comes from another review, which I found an interesting read, and another is what I can read into the mob, both in this episode and for episodes to come. Odo, despite being played by an older actor, is in many ways quite young and somewhat immature, which is only really there if you look at the timeline of his life and how he tends to respond to people as opposed to the appearance. It isn't always there, as he isn't always written that way, but that reading can be applied in cases that just being the outside other doesn't cover. I also like that the lynchbog, not for being well done in this episode, but for establishing an undercurrent of xenophobia in the Bajorans, which, spoiler. As to the phaser dissipating the crowd narratively, phasers tend to be treated as louder than what comes through our speakers, and with Bajor is just coming out of the occupation, phaser fire for them is likely to evoke fear due to the occupation as a result of who is generally held phasers, and so the resulting flinch of fear would likely put a damper on the hate-driven hostility.
That's a good point.
Yeah, good point.
I think that's another returning commenter as well. So.
Yes.
Using their trauma against them. What a Charles Xavier move.
So yeah, the idea, I'm intrigued by this idea of Odo being in fact young, and his stupid misogyny is more like defensiveness. I think it does come from defensiveness and inexperience, but it is still a really stupid thing to say.
Yeah. I like to think that he picked up that whole Klingon opera thing he overheard other men talking about their wives like that and thought, oh, well, I'll just parrot this because this is what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, doesn't excuse it.
No, definitely not.
No, but I like the idea of Odo being presented as young and inexperienced in the same way that, in this episode of Babylon 5, we were talking about Veer and Katath. I think that makes a lot of sense for what we've seen so far. Like he chose a presentation that looks older than he is because it gives him authority, but sometimes he's just a teenager in certain ways.
Yeah. He's definitely got the surliness down.
And the clarity of purpose.
And we've got an episode from Midnight on the... We got a comment from the episode Midnight on the Firing Line. Again from John Banfield. I already listened to this once on the audio only feed, but came here to see the fans. Thank you for doing the show. I tried to watch both DS9 and B5 at different points in my life, but bounced off the first episodes of both. Your analysis has given me new appreciation for them, though, and I'm now partway through a proper watching of Babylon 5. And in addition, if you're a fan of Psyche and Eros, there's a great and very well-researched novel by that name from a few years ago, written by Luna McNamara. Highly recommend. So there we are. We have a...
That's an interesting one. I hear about a lot of Greek myth retellings these days. They're very in.
Yeah.
And so it can be hard to sift through and know which ones are worth reading. So recommendations always welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, it's always...
Well, thank you all. Those are wonderful comments. We love to hear from you. Keep them coming.
Yeah. Yes, excellent comments. Thank you. The next episode is Captive Pursuit.
Okay.
But the episode after Captive Pursuit is one that Zilla has been looking forward to.
Huh?
Yes.
Is it nuclear vessels?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, well, like the next DS9 episode.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes, join us in 2 weeks for Captive Pursuit. And I'm not sure how much of this this will be a fun one to edit, but you know what? That's
Yeah, we were very tangenty this episode. My apologies, guys.
Have I mentioned I'm having executive dysfunction today?
Our prose went a little purple.
Yeah.
What
But
a job.
yeah, you might say it was born into the purple.
All right. So, do you want to tell the folks where they can find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, Zylla's Athenaeum. I'm also on Twitch at Zyllable, and also on Blue Sky and Mastodon. That's Zyllable. It's like syllable, but with a Z. And I talk about ancient stuff, video games with ancient stuff in it, history, language, leftist commentary, activism, things.
And maybe you can get them to watch the Odyssey if you commission them.
If you watch my Archeo gaming stream from yesterday, which would be the July 19th stream? No, 2 days ago, 18th. You can hear me talk all about what I know about Nolan's Odyssey and what I think about that.
What would be your commission price to go watch the Odyssey and have a review?
We'd have to negotiate.
Would it be more or less than what it would take me to watch the Netflix Pride and Prejudice that's coming out? Yeah.
Or me if they made a fourth Chris Pine Star Trek film.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me here on YouTube as Ren the Barbarian. I make videos about Star Trek and other pop culture. You can also find me on Tumblr, Blue Sky, Instagram as Ren the Barbarian. You can also find me on TikTok as the real Ren Shady.
And I'm Sara Ezzat. You can find me at the Fat Culture Critic on YouTube. You can find me on Blue Sky. And you can also find the podcast at various places, Blue Sky, Patreon, Tumblr, Instagram, etc. Either Ren or I will be running those. And you can leave us a comment or you can email us. And we do appreciate your comments and we appreciate your support if you can give it, or if you can't, you can give us a review or you can share the podcast. That would also be awesome and help us out. We've been getting good reviews, I think, for such a small new podcast, and that's awesome. I'm really proud of us. Hey folks, Editing Sara here, just dropping in to let you know that I'm hosting another Shakespeare reading. This time we're doing Much Ado About Nothing on Sunday, September 6th at 3 p.m. Pacific, and we'll be raising money for a family in Gaza. I'm playing Beatrice, Ren will be having the villain role as Don John, and Zilla will be taking a lover role as Claudio. So come and join us. It's a good cause, it's a fun time, and yeah. Come and see us. With that, we will bid you adieu.
Thanks for listening.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Bye.
No boom today, boom tomorrow. There's always a boom tomorrow. Sooner or later, boom!
9 to 5 is produced by me, Sara Ezzat. Editing duties are shared between me and Ren, and our wonderful theme music is made by Samantha Duke.
What are
But this
Yeah,
is
wouldn't
in
be-
fact purple. It's just the light balance made me choose between my hair looking good or my shirt looking good, and I made the sensible choice.
I mean, your shirt looks fine. It just looks more blue than purple.
Yes.
I'm wearing an olive green shirt. I just made my desk lamp purple, so.
I am one of those people who has purple everything. So
Mm.
I have purple many things.
People who
You know-
love the color purple really love the color purple. Like, I've never seen anyone more ride or die for their favorite color than purple people.
I have, and actually, I'll probably tell that story sometime in season 2.
I'm reminded of the scene in the live action remake of Beauty and the Beast where they've all turned human again, and Cogsworth's wife, like, first of all, Cogsworth has a wife? What? Did not see that coming. Cogsworth's wife runs up to him and gives him a big hug, and he's going, turn back into a clock, turn back into a clock.
Yeah, that is not a good film.
For
For
many
many
reasons.
reasons.
Yeah, I've never understood the Disney live action remake things. They just seem lazy
Money.
and gross to me.
Yeah. It
I mean,
starts
yeah,
with
it
N
makes
and
sense.
ends
Money,
with
go
yeah,
N.
around
but, like-
the world, go around the world, go around. Money makes the. I'm gonna get a copyright strike.
I really don't. There are people who genuinely like those, and I'm baffled.
Yeah,
But
I am fond of Cruella, but that's because it did its own thing.
and the
And it
Cinderella
embraced
one.
stylism.
that at least I understand.
Yeah, it embraced stylism so much.
And the Cinderella one was mildly entertaining, though not a patch on Ever After.
Oh, I love Ever After. So good.
Yeah.
So silly, but so good.
I don't need any other version of Cinderella, but Ever After and the one from the 90s of Rodgers and Hammerstein with Whitney Houston.
I also kind of like the movie of Ella Enchanted.
Read the book. The book is so much better.
I've read the book too. Like I do like the book better, but I like the movie. It's got its charm. Anyway, we're
we are tangent.
Getting off topic.